back, snuggled up on our couch again. It is us.
Us.
It is I.
Us.
We had the first fire in our backyard of the season. The weather has been so perfect.
It's finally fall.
Yeah, feeling like fall. It's already like, I don't know. I don't even understand that, why they put it on the calendar. Like, this is the first day of fall. And it's like, listen, it's not the first day of fall till it starts to feel like the first day of fall. But it has been this weekend, and we are back with all things creepy couples. I haven't figured out how to say it, but it's going to be spooky romance. It's going to be odd couplings. That was what everybody voted for on my stories. It was what I was leaning for anyways. So my first pick was Warm Bodies. It's a zombie horror romance from 2013 by a director I've never heard of. Have you ever heard of Jonathan Levine?
Not in that order. I've heard of Jonathan's and I've heard of Levine's, but no.
Don't be cute. Yeah, I hadn't really heard of him. He's worked on a couple other things. Like, I want to say one with like Seth Rogen. He did the one where Charlize Theron, I think, was like trying to be a political person or whatever. So kind of a niche humor style. But yeah. So what do you have in your notes, Mister?
I have notes. My first note is just that this is just a new take on the genre in general, just zombie films, because as far as romantic comedies go, I'd say it's still a new take, but I would say only because of all the zombie aspects. I feel like there's definitely tropes of romantic comedies, but I don't know, it was just refreshing. I think because of the setting, because of the content, the zombie content, and there was just a lot of refreshing zombie things, because zombies have definitely been beat into the ground, just like so many zombie people are like, I don't know.
It's a whole genre, but it's a beloved genre. But yes, I can see what you mean there's only so many ways you can find a cure, or there's so many ways that you can have an outbreak or whatever. And there's only I will say that it went from very slow moving, like kind of slow, chasing, to like in the newer zombie takes, like they can actually like run or like climb walls like really crazy.
Hurt each other.
Or what did you say?
I said, or they climb each other like World War Z.
Oh, right. Yeah, so those have been kind of refreshing takes. But yeah, never a zombie romance and love is the cure. But I thought it was pretty cute. My first note is that I loved the intro dialogue. It was just awkward and quirky and just kind of a very relatable inner monologue in a lot of ways. But then I also loved the parallels to us. I know that that's also kind of a trope, paralleling us in our lives to being like zombies, even though we're living, you know. But it's what did he say? He's just like, oh man, I wish I could communicate. Like, it must have been so much easier when I could like communicate how I was feeling, like with my words. And then it like cuts to everybody walking around staring at their cell phones and stuff like that. He was like, everyone must have been so connected. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cute. What else you got?
Yeah. Just back to the new take on the genre. I feel like there was a handful of things that were creatively explained, because, you know, they brush over why it happened, what happened with the zombie apocalypse or whatever. Like, doesn't really matter, but we're here now, which is kind of nice. It's kind of like, you know, doing another Batman film. It's like, you don't always have to show his parents dying, you know. It was like we kind of get something happened and now there's zombies, like, got it. But like, there's a reason for why they eat brains. That's always just kind of been an accepted thing, and I don't know, that was really refreshing and kind of cool. Like, I feel like in this movie, it's the only way it kind of not makes sense, but also makes, I don't know, is creative and charming, I guess. If that can be charming, like eating brains. It's weird.
I will say that, yeah, like they made zombies sort of charming in a way. It was the least gruesome zombie film. Like, there are some gory moments or whatever, but like I've seen a lot more blood and a lot more like limbless people and a lot more gore in zombie films. So this was fairly light. But then, yeah, the only other time I've seen where like you get the memories of the person when you eat their brain is in the show iZombie. I saw that one. I don't think you ever watched that one, yeah. But that's what they do as well. And so like that's how she like is a detective, is she eats different brains and she gets different skills from those people for a time. But yeah, so it was interesting because they don't sleep, they don't dream, but if you eat brains, then you get the kind of memories of that person. So that's an interesting take. And they said that that's why you eat the brains, because it's kind of the best part, because the rest of the body is just kind of like nourishment, but that part gives you a little hit of something else. Yeah, it was just definitely interesting. It was kind of, I liked the comedic humor. I liked the grunting conversation with his best buddy. Like, they just kind of grunt at each other, and like but they're best friends, and because that's the most effort that two zombies are giving. I don't know. It was just kind of cute. Their friendship was pretty adorable. The lighting at times in the film took me out of it, but not very much. It was just the lighting sometimes made me realize that I was looking at a set, like a movie film set, a very good one. You kept commenting on that you liked a lot of the sets, but I agree, I did too. But I do feel like occasionally I noticed that I was staring at a set. I don't know if you felt that way.
Yeah, I think it wasn't like 100% perfect, but yeah, I think some lighting, some of the sets kind of looked a little too clean dirty, if that makes sense. Like, there's graffiti on the walls and stuff, but it's like, it's perfectly placed in these places, and the gravel's all like not flush. Flush and like raked and stuff. Anyways, but no, for the most part, set design and lighting, cinematography, even CG is pretty solid, pretty good. Yeah, for the bonies, the zombies that have gone so far that they're just like bones. There was a couple times that you're like, okay, that's like CG, but again, yeah, it was like the darkness, the pitch of it like was just right, that it wasn't too bad. And whenever they showed them, it was, mostly far away, and even the up close ones, they like, I feel like took their time to, at that, what is it, 2013, but I don't know, gave it kind of the best effort, so they look pretty good. That was a big turning point in CG. It's when it started getting good, and I think they figured out what looked bad too, because they didn't have any bonies in direct sunlight or like a bunch of light. Like, I think they used like the single source method lighting a lot, or just like super shadowy, or just really up close. And so yeah, I think, and it wasn't just the bonies, there was a lot of CG throughout that the movie, but it was just, for the most part, either unnoticeable, which is a good thing, or it was just really well done. Yes, so let's talk a little bit about the actors. I really like the leading guy, and of course, whenever I go to say something, I like, their name evades me. But you had said it earlier. I did. I said when I started watching the movie, I really like. It's not Holtz. It's he's the same guy from Mad Max who plays one of the sick boys or whatever. About a Boy. And he's in About a Boy. Yeah. But I specifically like him in Mad Max because it's a similar thing where he's kind of grotesque looking, but somehow
how manages to charm you. And I think that that's a wildly interesting skill. The ability to be covered in essentially creepsville, just like kind of gore or like unattractive things, and remain endearing. Like, I don't know what that is or what skill that is, but I've seen like, I wouldn't say more attractive people, but like people in bigger budget films with better directors still not have that, like that thing that draws you in.
I think, to me, I think, you know, if I were to try to put a finger on it, it would be his dialogue, like his narration did a lot of heavy lifting. It was very charming. Like, you know, a lot of his stuff. The awkward, cute stuff that he was saying, even though he wasn't saying it, it was just in his head. And then also his face acting. He did a lot of, like, awkward, big cute face acting, yes, and, like, looks and the double comb hair, like, thing like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. He has like little cute mannerisms or whatever. But, you know, it's interesting. Like, you know, like I said, you can have bigger budgets. You could have better lighting. You could have better directors. You could have the best writing and still not like deliver your lines well enough to draw you in like that. And so I think he has an impressive skill to me to be made intentionally gross, but still have that charm. So that's pretty cool. I also loved the badass slow-mo girl shot where she like slides out in slow-mo with her gun, cocks it, and like headshot. It's like the moment he falls in love with her. I thought that was like, it was just like, it was kind of corny but so perfect at the same time. And then we discussed her face. Like, who like you said she looked like,
well,
you thought she was Amber Heard.
Yeah, I thought she was Amber Heard, but then we looked it up. It's not her. But then she has a bit of Kristen Stewart, and then you said
she talks like Natalie Portman sometimes. And there was a couple of like positionings where like I think like she was like upside down in the camera shot or frame and kind of like tucked near her shoulder or something, and she kind of looked like Natalie Portman. And so I just thought that was funny that Hollywood does that a lot. They take the same faces or the same mannerisms and they put them in movies again and again and again, and it gets us kind of familiar to that kind of symmetry in the face, to that kind of, like, of course there are the outliers that look very unique, like Owen Wilson and his crooked nose charmingness, you know. There's obviously those out there, but yeah, it was just really funny. Like, her face was just this modge podge of like these other people that you know. And yeah, and she had a couple Kristen Stewart, like, I don't know, ways that she delivered lines and stuff. That was really funny. What else? Is there anybody else? You liked that comedian guy.
His bro.
Yeah. You don't know his name.
I don't.
We are the worst.
Yep.
You're the worst cinematic review.
You know, but we're consistent.
We have something.
Yeah, that was actually kind of my last point, is the bromance. I just think it was interesting, and I feel like I like that, and I don't know if it's like a way to get dudes into these like these romantic comedies, but like, yeah, it was, I don't know, it was funny, it was charming to have this like side romance between him and his buddy. And it kind of reminded me of like Notting Hill and a couple movies like that where they have like the roommate or the best friend or whatever, and it's also like, you know, charming and gets to know, you get to know the male lead a little further, and like, you know,
in a different light,
and it adds for more comedic moments and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. I actually didn't expect this to be so rom-com-y. Like, I really thought it was going to be a little bit more zombie-y, but I do feel like I walked away watching like like, cute. Like, that's kind of what I felt like when I walked away from this film, which, like, there are other, like, comedic zombie films, like, right up this alley would be Shaun of the Dead and Fido, which are two of our other very favorite zombie films. I'm actually surprised. I think I'm a pretty big zombie fan. Like, I never really thought about it I think until I had Pioneer. And then when Pioneer's like all zombie, and I was thinking about it, I was like, oh, actually I was watching The Walking Dead when I went into labor with you. And then I was like, oh, and then we dressed up as the two main characters from Shaun of the Dead, the bromance in that movie. Not even the female, we did the bromance, which is that movie has the best bromance.
Well, that's because that's the lead.
What do you mean?
That's the lead romance in that movie.
You're right.
There's no male female romance. Yeah. It's just the bros.
Yeah, I mean there is, but yes,
Kinda,
it's
yeah.
What's her name? I always wanted to say it like he always says it. He's always calling out her name, Liz. I think it's Liz. But yeah, no, that bromance is the best, unmatched. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't know. I didn't realize that. And I don't particularly love gore, but I think gore doesn't bother me as much as some other explicit content can. So maybe because I can stomach the gore and it doesn't bother me as much, I watch more zombie movies. I don't know.
Yeah, I've always been a fan. I haven't seen all of the zombie movies. There's definitely some on my list still to watch that are, kind of the classic ones that a lot of people refer to. But I still, with how many have been produced, I've watched a lot and I like a lot of them.
Yeah. I appreciate the genre. One of your favorite movies is technically, isn't it? I Am Legend. It's technically zombies, right? It's zombies. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, there are some great ones. Honestly, Fido, if you haven't seen it, is just another hilariously unique take on zombies. And a friend of ours, Sean Lusinger, introduced us to that. Shout out to Sean Lusinger. I haven't talked to him in a really long time. I love him. He's very sweet, and he was the best at recommending films. But he recommended Fido, and that was like it was a very beautifally shot film and just a different just think what is it, Lassie?
Don't take
sorry
away from the review.
But I'm not doing them. I'm trying to kind of give a couple of examples because I'm not doing them this year. Okay. In this season, but next year I might do Zombie Apocalypse.
This is the review for Warm Bodies. I don't know if you
oh my gosh. Anyways, yes, I'm trying to give out to all of our fans and all of our so many listeners. I would like them to have a couple other titles in their belt that we enjoy. Let's see, what else did I write? I loved his intrusive thoughts. I loved when he said, why do I have to be so weird? He's just like this zombie that's wrestling with the fact that he's like a weird zombie. And I just love that. He's like, why do I have feelings? Why do I want to protect people? Like, ugh, I'm so weird. And I just love that. It's so relatable. Oh, I also wanted to note that there was a part in the movie that really struck me where her boyfriend dies. Dave Franco, right? It's Dave. James Franco's younger brother is Dave Franco, I think. Okay. Yeah. Dave Franco has like a brief bit in this film. Not super brief, but it is kind of one of the smaller roles. But he dies. And she says that she's not actively sad because in her world, people die all the time. And not to take like a super dark turn, but I just thought it was interesting that literally the day before we watched the film, I got to have one of my MOPS meetings or whatever, and the topic was grief. And so these other moms were sharing like different aspects of grief. And one of the women shared that something like that happened to her. Back to back, she lost very close people to her, and she talks about how the first one is the hardest. But then when you've grieved so hard, when the other ones come, your body just kind of knows what to do and how to keep going, and it's kind of just this weird feeling where it's not that you don't care, you've just kind of done a lot of your crying and you're emotional. And so I just thought that was a very like interesting deep nugget in this film that I guess you wouldn't care that much if, especially this character, her mom died too, so you kind of get used to, in a zombie world, people just dying all the time. Like that's just kind of normal. Like, so you wouldn't actually be, and she's like, I am sad, but like I kind of just in the back of my mind always expect it. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it makes me think of kind of character development that you get to kind of watch in like The Walking Dead, where they how
Yes.
numb or calloused the characters get over time.
Yeah.
Obviously, when they lose someone very special to
Sure.
them, like their son or something, then they still get worked up. But yeah, like you watch and people dying around them over and over and over, and eventually they're just like, well, moving on. But
Yeah, that's the world that we live in. That's life. So then, of course, when they realize that there can be a change, it is hard for her father to believe, which makes sense because you're like, I've already lost all these very important people. I literally have shot them. What do you mean there's a chance that they could change? You kind of wouldn't want to believe that at first. So it all made sense. The storyline was cute, was good. It's based on a novel I haven't read, but I think that when you kind of have source material like a novel that probably has gained some sort of acclaim, popularity, then you have a good base for a film. Some of the lines that I liked the dead don't sleep, but that's probably just because I don't sleep all the time. And I like that hope spreads fast. I thought that was really sweet, that when hope kind of comes alive, it spreads fast, and I just thought that was cute. That's it. That's all I have. Do you have anything else to say about the film?
Nope. I liked it.
Yeah, me too. Let's move into how much we liked it, and let's get your score.
All right. So my overall
Chameleon critique. It's got to be something. We got to brand it.
is
They can't see your face.
they can feel it. No, my overall vote for the film was a 4 out of 5.
Your what? Your overall?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't think it was perfect, but it was honestly really good. I think as far as romantic comedies go, it's above average, and as far as zombie films, it's above average. So 4 out of 5.
Okay.
And then rewatchability, I am also going to do a 4 out of 5 because I just think I would want to watch it again, not immediately, but just the writing, the acting, the general visuals, cinematography, CG, all that. It was really good. It was a very well-rounded film, so 8 out of 10 total for me.
Yeah, 8 out of 10. Okay, so I think we actually don't agree. A little, but only by 1 point, okay. I think. I don't know. I mean, actually, I'm kind of torn. I want to agree with you because I feel like I'm torn between, as an overall movie, was it a 3, kind of average, or was it a 4, above average? Because I'm not moved. I wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like when I watch The Walking Dead, there are some of those scenes where that moves me, where this was just like, kind of just like a really light rom-com, like, oh, cute, so I kind of feel it's average. So I think I'm gonna go with a 3, but I would agree that the rewatchability, because it's so charming, is a 4. I think I bump it up in how much I could stomach watching it again and again, and I feel like I could watch it but it does feel a bit like a background film for me, so that's where I think it would be a 7. Is that a 7? 4? Yeah, so I think it's somewhere between a 7 and 8. It's probably a 7.5.
But we don't believe in that.
But we don't believe in friends, so I'll go with a 7. So yours is an 8.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is a 7. And that is my first birthday month pick. I hope you watch it. I hope you let me know if you do. Tell me if you like it. Tell me if you hate it and you think it's total trash. I want to know. So, yeah, that's it. We did it. That's another one.
Yeah, and let us know of any other zombie films that you recommend or just is your favorite.
Yeah, because we like them. Apparently, we really like them. We'll give anything a try. Romantic, comedy, whatever. Also, I will say that as much as that was a refreshing take on a zombie film, like, so to its credit, that's just definitely a refreshing take. I will say that there is a lot of refreshing takes in horror right now. Horror is kind of having its moment. So, like, there are dark comedies, there are dark, romances too, and just very bizarre blends that they're mixing with horror nowadays. So I will say that in 2013, this was pretty fresh. But, like, now, I don't know.
fresh 10 years ago.
Anyways, thanks for listening.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.